Welcome to the Roving Reporter segment of Impact, where we spotlight special events and organizations in and around the capital region. This week, we're spotlighting the Minority Contractors Technical Assistance Program, MCTAP, here in Schenectady. My guest is Lorena Miller. Lorena, welcome.
Thank you, Huldah. Good to be here.
Thank you for being a part of this program today and just coming and spotlighting this wonderful organization that is doing such a great thing for minority contractors in the area.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Now, are you a local girl or from this area?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I work, live, and play right here in Schenectady. I've been own a house right here in the city for 28 years and grew up in Rotterdam, so I've always been local within Schenectady itself.
Okay, wonderful. So tell me about this program and how did it all get started in here?
MCTAP formed in 1994 because there was a need to fit the minorities, to get minority participation in construction. And the local branch of the NAACP and Better Neighborhoods Incorporated came together and helped form MCTAP.
Okay.
And then we were under the auspices of BNI and short period of time even for SCAP. But then in 2000, we got our own 501c3 and became a non-for-profit as a standalone agency, and then went on to secure funding to continue the program running.
Okay, so the program, because I was just talking to someone, and you find that, you know, you have big companies that have government contracts, and they're required by law to have a specific amount of percentage of minority contractors working.
Yes.
However, there's always some, you know, kind of wiggle room, I would say, where sometimes these minorities do not get the positions or the jobs in these companies. Talk to us about where MCTAP fits in that, you know, to help in that wiggle room.
I don't like wiggle room. I prefer actually to have participation goals be met the way they are supposed to by law. The lack of minority participation is still a sore spot for a lot of the contractors. There are large contractors, BBL and, you know, AOW Associates, a number of them in the capital region. And some of them have gotten much better at picking up minority participation rates and meeting the goals. And there still are a few that are, I'll say, old school,
Okay.
kind of behind the times. The purpose of MCTAP is to increase the opportunities of the minorities in the construction fields. And as far as how MCTAP fits into the whole thing, is if you want to start a construction business, we help you right from the beginning, telling you how to get your business established,
Okay.
getting your business name out there, your advertising and marketing. We work with business plans. We help you understand what are the insurance needs you have to have, and also as well as other networking opportunities. We do this on a daily basis with a good number of people. We get newbies that come in. We get the old established ones. So then if you're even an established minority contractor, we can help assist you get New York State certified,
Okay.
Department of Transportation certified as a Section 8A, they call that, and also as a DBE, which is Disadvantaged Business Enterprise.
Okay.
We help you with those certifications. If you're not into becoming a construction business owner, but you want to work in a construction field, we can also help you get that established. If there's specialized training you're going to need, are there any mandated certifications you're going to have? We give all the technical assistance to make this happen for these minorities, you know, located here in Schenectady. I like to focus on the capital region as far as networking,
Okay.
but we do try to focus on our local people, our local minority population who are interested or are already established in construction.
Well, that's wonderful because, I mean, you are the whole package, basically.
Yeah, we are. We go from A to Z, and we give them not just hand over the paperwork, but we give them the support all along as well.
Okay.
We keep a file. We keep our connections established with the people. They know they can call us anytime. If there's a question they can have, they'll call me. If I can't answer, I'm going to refer them to the appropriate place, because I never like people to leave with nothing. You know, lack of information can be a bad thing.
So let me ask you. So I'm a new person. I heard this program. I want to come to you. What's the first thing, or when I meet you for the first time, what's the first thing that I need to have with me, or what do I need to have with me when I come in to meet you?
Your desire to want to do something.
Okay.
You'll do an intake form with me. You'll come in and sit down and get established as a MCTAP member, client, however it wants to be worded. I will go over with you, kind of evaluate where you're at, what you want to do, and then how we're going to work together to get that accomplished.
Okay.
And I can direct you to the county, the city for the appropriate departments you have to work with or deal with. We're going to maintain a file on you, and then we're going to continue to work with you as you have your business needs, if you're going to want a business, or if your training is ready to expire, or if you need new types of training that are coming out.
Okay.
So we can help you get through all those stages, smoothly, and with technical support and mental support, we'll say, all the way through, because there's still a lot of discrimination within the field for minorities, and it's discouraging, to say the least. So we want to give those people the support to know this can be done. Let's just find the right avenues to do it. Let's look through some of the loopholes. We can manage it.
Okay, so what is the percentage? Say, for example, there's a city contract. And what percentage of minorities are required by most contracts to be fulfilled?
It can be anywhere from about running from 7% up to about 17%. It's a real touchy subject.
Okay.
Depending on the size of the contract and who the general contractor would be. They call this a good faith effort out there. I don't think a good faith effort is always being met.
Okay.
But there is the affirmative action office, that should somebody have an issue, it can be brought to the affirmative action office, because that's an agency, we work closely with, and vice versa, on a lot of the minority participation. And even if there are goals, it's sometimes having to get pushed to make sure they're being met.
Exactly.
And again, that depends on the size of the contract, but also the contractor themselves, meaning the general contractor who are winning these bids.
Exactly, wins the bid.
And that's why I mentioned earlier, some of them are more willing to work, and some of them still really aren't.
Because, at the end of the day, many of the things that I've heard or found out for myself, I'm doing research before this, is that many of the minority contractors lose the bids or not being able to fulfill the contract because they're not paperwork is not done. And they're not quite prepared for the position. And this is, again, where your organization comes in to get that new contractor, that person that says, I want to be a part of this contract, to have all the paperwork done and everything be updated. Now, are there any fees involved with this?
With MCTAP, absolutely not. We are a federally funded program that offers the services, because we get our funds through the federal people. We have to go through the city and apply every year for them, but there never is and never will be a charge to come into MCTAP doors and receive these services. And most likely, depending on the type of services you need, I'm going to refer you to another agency who does the same thing, no charges.
Okay.
Because the economy, and we consider we really serve the low-income population quite a bit.
Yes.
And so I'm mindful of that, that I'm not going to send them places. If I'm going to refer them, I'm familiar with who I'm referring them to and what we can do for them. We really try to sit down and strategize what we can do.
So this is really, I don't see any disadvantage here, because here you come in, you have somebody who's going to walk you through the process.
Yes.
And it's not, you're not going to be paying a lot of fees or any kind of a fees, basically, to get all the paperwork done. And you're put in a position by the city to be ready for when these contracts are available, to jump in and to become a part of the process.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that you told me, that there is a great percentage of women contractors who come to MCTAP. Talk to me a little bit about these women.
We do. We actually have a number of contractors. We have clients and we have contractors. We kind of delineate the difference between the two, because the one who needs more support is going to be the contractors. But we do have a pretty decent percentage of female-owned businesses and women who get trained in particular skilled fields and are out there working. I'm going to say we have about roughly 30 to 35% are women-owned, and women who are in the field, like an asbestos or lead abatement.
Okay.
It's already a male-dominated field, but we really try to break down those barriers, and if there should be issues, we work directly with the client, you know, the contractor, and get them through the process, because it's tough enough already being a minority.
Yes.
It's even tougher being a female minority in the construction field. And we keep working down the barriers, and we also want to support the person, you know, completely in the process, that they're not alone.
Exactly.
This is the place to be. And if you do have issues like on the job or getting involved, getting somebody to hire you, we have the places we can send you, you know, to help you understand, well, what more can we do?
And when you say minority, and especially when it comes to women, that includes also Caucasian women. Does that?
Yes, we do have a couple of them. Most of ours are mostly African American and or Hispanic minority participating.
But that is open also to Caucasian women for
yes,
them
it
to
is.
come in. Yes,
it is. I know that in some areas, Caucasian women aren't considered a minority. It depends on who you talk to or what purpose it is. But in a lot of respects, it still is a minority, because we're still trying to be equal in so many levels. And there's some old school people out there that think the woman should be home, you know, I don't know, barefoot and raising the kids.
And those barriers still need to be broken down. Still need to be broken down in 2013.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. But now talk to me about your success rate. Since you've been in operation, how many years now?
14. McTap, no, actually I've been with McTap for 14 years, and McTap has been in existence now 19 years.
Okay.
And in 2000, when we broke away from you know, the previous organization that kind of fostered us, and then we got on our own in 2000. We've just recently moved. We purchased a building. It's gotten rehabbed, and we used to be in a basement office prior to. Now we're on a centrally located 818 Albany Street, right in the heart of Hamilton Hill. We're on the entire building, but our offices are all located on the first floor. We're handicapped accessible. We're visible. Prior to that, we really weren't in a basement office. You can't see, you're too visible. And the move was great, because what we want to do is we want to foster like an incubator mentoring sort of services, you know, globally. And we have office space to rent that we want to be able to utilize for our contractors and those interested within that field. And the benefit is because now we're having more people coming. I didn't know what you guys were all about. I didn't know you existed. Well, I can give you a 2-minute synopsis, a rundown of what we are. In a nutshell, what we are is to, you know, our mission is to increase the contract opportunities for the minorities in the field, and that's done a lot of ways. We do our one-on-one counseling, getting them established as a business or started, the trainings, we have seminars and workshops. We just actually had one last Thursday on New York State certification and Section 3, and that was with the city and the county of Schenectady who put that on, and we participated, had it in our building, and we'd like to have more of them like that. We're going to continue to have seminars and workshops that are directly related to providing services and or the needs of the people in the construction field, and that could be anywhere from getting your credit repaired, what are the loan processes, and also training specific to those fields.
Now, what are some of the drawbacks? You talked about being New York State certified. I'm assuming that you have to be approved by the city also. When sometimes minority would come in and they say, you know what, the process, you know, we're having some hiccups in the process. What can be some of those things that are limitations that would cause a contractor not to be certified?
Well, that's easy to answer, because it generally is, if you're not getting enough contracts, it's like a domino effect. You have to have insurance. Right up the top. You have to have general liability insurances. You have to have your workers' comp. That workers' comp can be very expensive sometimes, depending on what you do. If you mention roofing at all, you're not even going to get touched by a regular insurance company. It's going to go automatically to the New York State Insurance Fund, which the premiums are horrible. But in general, some of the things that could be the setbacks, if the paperwork, if your insurance has lapsed, or a certification is just about to expire and that has expired, you have to get it renewed. Generally, a lot of contracts, they want you to be New York State certified. Well, then we're going to make sure they are. But even if we have all this paperwork in place and everything is done, we'll still have the issues of getting that minority participation goal met.
Okay.
Some people can be kind of lackadaisical, thinking, oh, everything's all fine. Well, no, not necessarily, because why are these minority contractors still stating, hey, why are we not getting a piece of this contract? What is going on?
Yes.
But again, as far as setbacks, it depends on the general contractor. If you have to jump through hoops, I don't want my guys or girls running and jumping through hoops. It should be
A smooth
standard.
process.
Just, hire them. They got the qualifications. We make sure that they're going to get involved in these contracts, because we're also a secured site location. I mean, we get specs and plans on a lot of the major projects, not necessarily the ones from the City of Schenectady itself. That's a different process. But we make sure they have access to the information. We want to make sure they're going to have everything up to date, no lapse of insurance, that if they need to be certified in a particular field, make sure it's there. Don't let it expire. Setbacks, again, it could still be the discrimination process too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still there.
Yes. And so how do you break down the discrimination barriers? What is happening on the other side? How do we make sure, not just make sure that the contractors who win these bids are compliant, but what are some of the things that, or I don't know if you do it or not, that you may do to nudge these guys to say, hey, get with the program. You've won the bid. You're required by law to do this. Now you need to do this.
Oh, that's a good question. The standing issue is, if we're trying to get these minority contractors participating with these larger general contractors, I will actually speak with the general contractor themselves.
Okay.
And another thing that I've been working on, trying to get our contractors and even our, clients who want to get into a specific field, we're starting to build business profiles. It's kind of like the business resume, building a portfolio, because your work is going to,
open doors, yeah.
There, it's they can see what you're doing. So if they have a visual and you're speaking with a person at the same time. So one of the things we try to do and strongly encourage and support is create a business profile, a business portfolio.
Great.
Anything that you can hand over to somebody else that they can see who and what you are and what you have done. It kind of helps. It's like when you hand a business card to somebody, you're not leaving them empty-handed. It's the same thing with a business profile. It gives the background of the business, and it gets them, sometimes it gets their foot in the door a little bit better.
I think that's wonderful, yes. Well, is there anything else that we need to cover on MCTAP?
We're the only one of its kind in upstate New York.
That is true.
We exclusively, provide services to the minority. Well, not exclusive, but our purpose is to, service the minorities in the construction. And the whole open arena of the services that we provide run quite a bit from A to Z, but we're the only one in upstate New York that does it. There's only one other organization that's down in New York City.
Okay.
There are some, I can't say wannabe programs. There's some that might focus on one little part.
But not the entire package.
We do the entire thing, and we're it for upstate New York. And in the city of Schenectady, many more people are starting to become familiar with us as we got up onto the ground level floor and we're more visible, and now we're going to proceed forward. And
you have to be a resident of the county and city of Schenectady?
Yes and no. For funding purposes, sometimes funding out there can be a little funny. Your funding could say, well, what funding we give to you has to focus on, like right now, City of Schenectady residents only.
Okay.
And that might be the case. But if you're from Troy, if you're from Saratoga, from Albany, you're insular out there, the capital region, the Tri-City area.
Yes.
I never refuse people's services. I always make sure they're going to still get provided services. And even if I can't count them as a number, we'll say, they're still a number to me. And I'm going to make sure they get what they still deserve, actually. When they walk in the door, I don't want them leaving empty-handed.
I think that is an awesome thing that you guys are doing, and I hope that many contractors, because this area is growing, there's so much work to be done.
Yes, there is.
Big and small, and you know, I mean, in my years of being here, my 20-something years of living in the capital region, I have seen many construction work being done, and I always look to see who's doing the work. You know, I'm one of those people who look to see who is doing the work, and it's great to have this organization, McTap. Now, how can people get in contact with you?
Well, we're located at 818, that's 818 Albany Street. Our phone number is area code 518-372-4409. We do have a fax. We do actually have an email as well. We do have a Facebook page, and we're working on getting a website.
Excellent.
For us, as we're now in a new location. So as we make more progress, things are just, you know, becoming bigger and better.
Okay.
But we're there Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I have an administrative assistant. Her name is Eunice, and she's there in the first part of the day, and I take over the second part of the day. Because our funding only allows us, you know, part-time, but we want to maximize the services available to our participants.
And you are in partnership with different organizations. I know you're in partnership with the Affirmative Action Department and other organizations that, you know, provide more information that can, you know, go even further for contractors.
That's a lot of the networking. The Affirmative Action Office is great as a networking tool. Information and contracts that they have information of, they'll email us, and then we're in not so much a partnership, but we work closely together with Better Neighborhoods Incorporated, because they do a lot of rehab projects, a lot of home ownership construction projects, and Community Land Trust of Schenectady as well. And we work with city, county agencies, you know, to have our goals be met, not just for our program, but also for our clients. And we work with people on the state and federal level as well.
Now, can you give me one success story that you can share of an individual who came in and wasn't sure what to expect, and now they are on the fast track of construction contracts and all of that?
Oh, I have several. I have several, and in fact, two good success stories were women. They were women-owned businesses. They wanted to start out on their own, understanding the whole process. One had previously been a partner in a business that had gone wayside due to the death of a partner. But, you know, they knew of McTap. They came in, let's get them established, let's get them moving along. So right now I can think of 3 or 4 right off the top of my head of female-owned businesses who've come out from, you know, all that muck and all the discouragement, and have actually, you know, forged ahead, and they're doing very well.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, it's a great privilege to have you on our show, Lorena. Thank you for bringing this wonderful source of information and to spotlight McTap, that's doing a great job for contractors in this area. And again, how can they get a hold of you? What's the telephone number?
It is area code 518-372-4409.
Okay. You've been watching the Roving Reporter segment of Impact. My guest was Lorena Miller. She's the director of the McTap program here in Schenectady for minority contractors. I hope you take advantage of this program and go out there and learn all that they have to offer. I'm your Roving Reporter, Huldah Thompson. See you next time.
Proctors, bringing the best in arts, education, and entertainment.